What's going on, everybody? This is Benjamin Bokchoy bringing you another weekly event video. This week is a Canada Classic Car Challenge, and as you can see, our fastest lap is a 112.122, and session theoretical best would have been a 111.8. Good enough for P17 in the overall time trial times, and only 9 spots away from Jarno Opmeer, which is pretty good. I mean, we're running with the racing line and everything, but I'm still pretty proud of that time. I know we are over 6/10 slower than Jarno Opmeer, but that's still a pretty decent time to me, I think, anyway. And so this week, as with any other week that we're running this classic car challenge, I think this is C1. The fastest car is the 2004 Ferrari. So we're just going to jump right into qualifying and look at our couple fastest laps. So what I did was really just overfuel the car and went out for a whole bunch of laps. So the tires are a little bit different from the 2020 cars in that they're not completely ruined after one lap. So you can run these classic tires for a good amount of laps, and even when they're at like 30-40% wear, they're still good enough to set fast lap times. So this is our third lap. We invalidated our first one and ran into the AI on our second one. So we didn't really set any quick lap times. And the thing about this 2004 Ferrari is that even though you have the traction control assist off, I think there's still some built-in traction control in the car, just because the 2004 Ferrari did have traction control in real life. This was the era before they banned it. Well, they did ban it previously, and then they brought it back, and then they banned it again. But this car, at this point in time, had traction control, so there is a little bit of built-in traction control, so there's less chances of you losing the back end and spinning out compared to the 98 McLaren, which just has really terrible traction. I'm not sure if the 98 McLaren had traction control built in either, but this car is definitely more nimble through the corners than the 98 McLaren. So just keep that in mind. Even though it does have the traction control, you still have to go a little bit easy on the throttle, just because if you give it too much throttle, it'll spin the tires out a little bit before you gain traction, and you won't get as fast as a lap time as you possibly could. But anyway, our fastest lap, personal best right now, is a 112.3, I believe it is. Yep, 112.3. Had a couple of scruffy sectors in the first and second sector, but we're only about a 10th down in sector 3 right now and looking to improve. So that hairpin and this little chicane here always give me problems, so I do kind of have to work on my consistency there, but it's good enough to set a new personal best, about a 10th up. And now we're going to go in for our final lap. I did go into the pits, change out the tires, and come out again, but on my second run I kept running into the AI and kept invalidating my laps. So even though we have plenty of time left, this is going to be the final run. And even though you see me going to certain gears in these corners, I haven't figured out quite exactly what the best way to attack some of these corners are. So definitely play around with it, do a little bit of practice on your own, and hopefully this video will be a pretty good guide on how to get a decent lap around Canada here. So we do set 2 purple sectors, which is pretty good, considering I usually get really nervous in the qualifying rounds and kind of screw up my laps, but we're having a pretty decent qualifying round now. And as opposed to the 98 McLaren, which feels better in practice trim than it does in quali trim, the 2004 Ferrari is so much quicker for me. I don't know why, but it felt so much better this time around in the 2004 Ferrari. And we do set a 112.052, which is actually faster than our time trial times. So the practice, I guess, really did help us out. And if you were paying attention, you could see that there were definitely spots that we could have improved our time. I feel like if I could hook this all up, I probably could have gotten a high of 111 or so, but some of these corners kind of screw with me, and we only set a 112.052, which is still good enough for P3 on a Tuesday. About 600 people playing so far, but I'm still higher than a lot of guys that I'm usually slower than in the previous weekly challenges, so I'm okay with that. And it should set me up for pole position pretty much in any race that I attempt this weekend. So I hope that has helped you guys out watching those qualifying runs. And I did want to just add this little bit towards the end of the video to help you further with your strategy. So as you can see, I put in 2 extra laps worth of fuel, and I'm intending to run this race in rich fuel mode the entire time. And towards the end of the race, you'll see you can pretty much run it in rich the entire race and not have too many issues. Obviously, when you're following behind a car, you will have to watch your engine temperatures, as the engine still can overheat in this Ferrari, but through the fact that these aren't the V6 hybrids of F1 2020, you're not running into overheating problems every other sector. So you can run in rich the entire race, and even doing so, I still ended up with about 1/3 of a lap worth of fuel at the end of the race, and the tires didn't really wear out too bad. I think up until about lap 15 or 16 of this 25% race, I was still setting fastest lap after fastest lap, so the tires can last the entire 25% race. So with that being said, 2 laps of fuel can last you, or 2 extra laps worth of fuel can last you an entire 25% race running in rich, and your tires will definitely not wear out. So you can definitely use those 3 facts to kind of help with your race strategy this weekend. You can definitely underfuel the car if you're not planning on running in rich. I'm not really sure if running in lean helps with traction out of corners in this car. I haven't really tested it enough to really figure that out, so you guys can probably do that on your own. And obviously it's going to be different depending on your driving style anyway, but for me, I'm not quite sure if being in lean fuel mode really helps me out of the corners. But now knowing that I can run it in rich pretty much the entire race with about 1.5 laps worth of extra fuel and not have to pit at all during the race, it'll definitely help me make a better strategy for me to help me do better on the weekend. But other than that, that's pretty much this video. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you pick up 1 or 2 things that'll definitely help you out in your practices and your races on this weekend. Good luck in qualifying and on your race this weekend. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for some more. If you feel like I deserved it, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Remember to eat your bok choy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Also, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to do so in the comments section. I'll do my best to help you guys out.